Well, hello, General Hospital Daily Recap fans. Today's daily recap is for Monday, November the 10th, 2025. Not a huge eventful day, but we did have some definite events and kind of action going on. I'm going to show my picture and kind of hit um, all the action that we did have, that I captured pictures on. Okay, so here we go. We have, well, guess who is visiting Willow? And we find out from a conversation that Dante has with Brooke Lynn. She wanted to speak to him. Uh, Dante tells Brooke Lynn, they keep a log on everybody that goes to visit Willow because she's, it's an active investigation. And Chase has gone to see her 3 times that you know of, Dante. This could be number 4. He didn't say, and he's there right now. So, really, 4 times he's been to see Willow. And oh, he shows her a picture. This is what Amelia drew. Oh, my little girl's getting so good. She's growing up so fast, and I'm missing it all. I hate that. I hate this Chase. I hate it. Oh, Willow. So, of course, she has to reach for his hands. She has her hands over his hands. And he's just looking into her willowy, watery, wannabe eyes. He goes, I believe in you, Willow, and I am actively trying. You know, I am working on my own. And Alexis walks up. And there they are right now, actually, in this picture. She walks up and Chase, they're looking over at her. And she goes, Detective Chase, do I need to remind you the importance of no physical contact with the prisoner? Oh, and Chase stands up. Oh, yeah. Oh, and he straightens up his little suit. Oh, yeah, I understand. No, you don't understand, Chase. No, you don't understand. Because there you are doing it. And she's probably held your hand each and every time you've come and gave it an extra squeeze to boot. Willis says, Oh, no, it's my fault. Chase just showed me this picture of this image of a picture that Amelia drew. And I got emotional and I reached for his hand. It's not his fault. She goes, Okay, it's understandable you got emotional. However, she said, Detective Chase, we don't need any little infraction, no matter how small, going up against Willow. And having physical contact with visitors is an infraction. Can be. She goes, No, okay, it won't happen again. So Alexis is saying that she is going to have another judge, or maybe the same judge. She's petitioned to have bail looked at again because probably another judge, that it was handled really a little harshly and it wasn't handled properly. She's not a flight risk, all of this oopla stuff, right? So she says, and we have a good chance of getting you released on bail. And so Chase says, and she goes, oh, and Willow goes, and Chase is working also to prove my innocence. And Alexis looked at him and he goes, off the clock and not on PCP, not using PCPD resources. I have another suspect I'm going after another angle. He goes, I'm going to discredit Michael's alibi. And Willow looks, goes, what alibi? Oh, Jacinda. And she looks, she goes, wait, Jacinda? That's the one that I caught in our bedroom with Drew. And he goes, yeah, well, Michael saying they met that night for the first time at the bar. They had some drinks and he went home with her. Or he spent the night with her until he got a phone call from Wiley, from Brooklyn. Wiley had had a nightmare and he went straight home. So Willow said, wait, she's an escort. How can Michael be hanging out with an escort? Just like he's hanging out with he was hanging out with your lying behind, Willow, right? Unfortunately, he was with Nell too. Crazy. So anyway, Alexis says, okay, well, I've got another lead as well that I'm working on. And, if it comes to pass or if it pans out, then we'll be able to add another suspect to the list. And Willow goes, no, but it was Michael. Michael is the one that shot Drew. No, no, you don't know that, chick. Right? Now, is Michael going around saying Willow shot Drew? No, Michael's saying the police have a suspect in jail, and it's Willow. And yes, she could have possibly done it. The police know what they're doing. But her and Drew, no, it was Michael. So Alexis looked at her. She goes, well, we don't know that it was Michael. So us trying to make a case that it's Michael, she looked at Willow and said, that's not going to help your case, Willow. You don't have an alibi. And now the way it's looking, it's like you lied about your whereabouts, your alibi. So no, me getting you out on bail, that just gets you out of here till the trial. Still got a lot of work to do. And no, unless a major evidence comes out, it's not going to shift to just Michael. And she just looks at Alexis like, oh. Now, mind you, when it was Martin, no, no, you go after Michael. She's not taking that tone with Alexis, right? So anyway, so Chase, she tells Chase, well, it's good to have someone else, looking and fighting to protect my client, right? I could have swore I just knew she was going to say, Detective Chase, tread lightly because you are a police officer. And just by nature of him questioning anybody, they're going to think he's on duty. He is actually misrepresenting just by him being who he is. He could go leave Willow and go and talk because he goes, I'm going to try to discredit Jacinda because if she wasn't with Michael, then she probably had another job and she could have been with somebody else. And that would take away his alibi. And the thing is if she had a date with someone else, she has an alibi, right? So Alexis says, well, if anything comes up, you let me know. Anything that I can use that would be useful. He goes, I will. So he looks at Willow. Willow, I am going to clear your name. Oh, Chase, I don't know what I would do without you, Chase, through this whole thing. I don't know. Now, you notice Drew hasn't gone to see her. Now, mind you, he was right there in the court during her arraignment behind her, saying, no, no, I know she didn't do it. Then why are you not visiting her in Pentonville? Not at all. Probably because he still has some little PTSD where Pentonville is concerned. That's where he got his behind royally beat within an inch of his life, right? So he's too afraid to go to Pentonville to even see the woman he loves. So he comes to Nina's office, and Jacinda's sitting outside, as her assistant's desk. And he comes up to her and he does his usual berating. You're going to be going to jail. You sticking with Michael. What are you doing here? Nina's supposed to be getting rid of you. And you're letting Michael Corinthos drag you down. And she's just looking at him. So she said something to him, and he said, I can go to the police and tell them you're the one who drugged me. And Jacinda has a good poker face. She's still just looking at him. What she should have said is, actually, you're not going to do that. Because if you were going to do it, you would have already done it. Period. From the start. Yet, I have the receipts from the $50,000 you gave me in the Bahamas. And I will definitely tell that you wanted me to keep my mouth shut about you doing a party drug. So I don't think you're gonna be going to the police, but you know what? Go if you want, because I have a great, great story to tell them about you that would shut Drew up right then and there. Shut it up, shut it down. So Nina comes out and she goes, you know what? Why are you berating my assistant? And he's like, you said you were getting rid of her. She goes, well, as it turns out, I need an assistant and Jacinda is good. So she goes, if you got something to say to me, say it to me in my office. So they go in the office and she shuts the door and he goes, what are you doing? You were supposed to be paying her to go away. She says, I was, but Michael, obviously, he convinced her to stay. He goes, all he did was add a few more zeros than you did. You should have just added more. And she goes, nah, I got a better plan. And she's telling him that she's gonna orchestrate an encounter to where it's got Wiley and Amelia and Michael, and now she's probably gonna be there. And Jacinda, she's gonna make sure Jacinda comes. She says, now Jacinda is his alibi. So that means they're in a relationship. Well, you know what, everybody know it doesn't mean that. Just because I slept with you one night, mind you, you're an escort, but just because I slept with you one night doesn't mean we're in a relationship. Period. It does not mean that. Michael's the one saying wants to make it a little more convincing when honestly it doesn't have to be. Uh, for one, I didn't know she was an escort. For two, she didn't charge me. For three, we had fun. But that's all there is to it. I got too much going in my life with my kids to have a serious relationship. He should have left it at that, right? She goes, so I know Michael. He is not gonna have the likes of Jacinda around Wiley and Amelia because that's not gonna look good for him in custody. Why not? Especially since, look, that's why he made sure she got a job, a legitimate job. That's gonna look real good for him, right? Really good. So she goes, and I'm gonna make sure that Wiley and Amelia are there around Jacinda And you're going to watch. Michael is going to push her away so fast. And that right there is going to bust his alibi. See, Nina cannot think her way out of a soda can at all. That doesn't bust his alibi. It just doesn't. It just means my kids are going through a lot. Their mother is in jail, and I'm not about to bring a relationship or another woman around them at this point in time because I care about their emotional well being, Your Honor. But me and Jacinda, Miss Smith, I don't know her last name, right? Oh, we are seeing each other. Hmm. Quite frequently, just not around my kids. I'm not going to do that. And she understands that. Has nothing to do with her ex line of work. It has everything to do with my children's emotional well-being. And so what Drew says, but wait a minute, you're going to orchestrate a situation in front of the kids. He says, aren't you concerned about how Wiley and Amelia might take this situation? It might upset the kids. Aren't you concerned about that? You know what Nina said? It may upset a minor, upset them. Minor, they may be upset a minor bit. But getting Willow acquitted and out means everything. When she said that, I said, that's the exact same thing Drew said. And you are willing to emotionally damage your grandchildren for the greater good. So she goes, Drew's like, okay, it better work. She goes, it's gonna work. So he leaves. And of course, he has to give one last jab at Jacinda. She just looks at him. So Nina leans out her office, yells out her office from her desk saying, Jacinda, contact Michael Corinthos. Tell him I need to see him right away. So she does, and Michael comes and he goes, Nina wants to see me. And Jacinda says, I will let her know you're here. And Jacinda stands up and Michael says, hey, are you free for dinner tonight? She said, hmm, all depends on how good the offer is. And he looks at her and she smiles. And Nina goes, Michael. No, she goes, I'll let Nina know you're here. She walks in. Miss Reeves, Michael Corinthos is here, as the proper assistant would do. And Michael walks in. Hey, Anina, what do you need to see me for? I want to see my grandchildren. They've been kept from me long enough. Well, chick, who was keeping your grandkids from you before Michael got the grandkids? Willow, your daughter, Andrew, were keeping your grandchildren from you. Yeah, they were. So you're going to look at Michael, and am I going to have to take you to court to get my grandparents' rights restored or enacted? And Michael looked at her, he goes, Wiley and Amelia would love to see you. And she looked at Michael. She's like, wait, what? He goes, Nina, I don't have a problem with you seeing Wiley and Amelia. It's their mother that I have a problem with. And she just looked at him. She goes, so you're saying that I'm going to be able to see? Yes, Nina. He says, now there is a condition. And what would that be? That you don't say anything to them regarding what's going on with Willow or anything that would upset them. He goes, but you, I have full confidence you understand what to say and what not to say. And she's leaning back in her chair and she's thinking, well, I didn't think this was going to go this well. She was prepared to think she gonna have to threaten and shake her head and shake her fist and fingers and go down. And Michael's like, yeah, sure. You know he got a plan with that, but yeah. And so she goes, well, okay. And he walks out, right? And she's sitting there thinking, well, shoot, have I misjudged him? So he goes to Jacinda, and mind you, Nina's door, he didn't close the door behind him, he left it open, which he knew. And he goes to Jacinda, he goes, so have you thought about dinner tonight? She said, yes, I did. Out on the Metricourt terrace, whatever, out there on that terrace, she goes, it hasn't turned cold yet. And this is going to be one of the last few times we'll be able to eat out there before the weather turns cold and even start to snow. And he said, now that sounds nice. So he looks at her and he leans in and he puts his hand and kisses her, right? She's kissing him back. And Nina, of course, is at her door just looking. And she's looking like, is he catching feelings for her? She's just looking like, oh, goodness, I'm gonna be able to use it. Yeah, okay. Because she's not an escort anymore. You're not thinking. She's an executive assistant now, making a very good salary. Mm. So I'm like, yeah, Michael's great, right? So anyway, before he's at Nina's, Sonny is telling him that we got to do everything we can to make sure the case against Willow goes away. And he says, why? Willow definitely could have shot Drew. And he goes, it's this anger you have, Michael. This is what makes you look guilty. This is, yes, Willow's in jail now, but it doesn't mean she'll stay that way. And he goes, okay, and if she doesn't stay that way, what, then you think they're going to look at me? So why would we want to help get her out? And Sonny says, no, once the case goes away, is botched against Willow. The PCPD, I mean, the DA's office, they're going to just drop the whole thing. They're not going to want to bring a case up against you because they couldn't get her. So they're going to have egg on their face. And I'm thinking, Sonny, that's ridiculously stupid. Because yes, they absolutely would. If some new evidence came up, they would go after Michael. Period. And I'm with him. Heck no. I'm not about to help get that done. And so as little Donna is home, she got a little school project making some cutout turkeys, paper mache turkeys. And she asked Michael to stay, but he says, no, no, I wish I would. I mean, I could, but I have to go. Sorry. But he was telling Sonny, yeah, Michael and Amelia are working on their Thanksgiving projects. And I'm thinking, is Amelia in school? When did they age her? And why the heck isn't anybody talking about Avery? Avery should be working on her Thanksgiving turkey too. She's only a couple years older than Donna. That's it. They were playing together like twinsies almost just last year. Why there's no more Donna, I mean, Avery, I don't know. Whatever. So anyway, he says, I'm gonna walk Michael out, Donna. I'll be right back. So he walks Michael out, and Michael looks at him. He says, Dad, from a tactical standpoint, I see where you're coming from, and it makes tactical sense. He says, however, that's not in the best interest of my kids. I am doing what's best for them. And he turns and he walks away from Sonny, and Sonny's just looking at him. And I'm like, Sonny, I wouldn't be listening to you either. But what he's saying is, Michael don't know, he's working on Justine, wrapping her right around his little finger so that if the case gets botched against Willow, she's not going to prosecute Michael. Sonny is ensuring he's compromising her to the hilt. And if she's not the one prosecuting, all the other ADAs are less skilled than her. And Molly would have to recuse herself. So, okay, Sonny, you doing the darn thing and keep on. Because I'm liking the chemistry between Sonny and Justine. Uh, him and little Donna were getting ready to work. They had been working on some of the turkeys, and there's a knock on the door. And he gets up and he opens it, and it's Justine standing there. And he goes, Justine. And she goes, sorry to just barge in on you like this, but I had nowhere else to go. And he looks, and she's got oil smudge on her face, and she's limping. I mean, she's got her shoes in her hand. And he goes, come in. And she goes, I had a flat tire. And instead of calling a car, I thought, oh, I could just change the flat tire myself in a suit, right? Uh, I don't care if I can change a flat tire. And by the way, those lug nuts are way too tight for me to try to get off. So no, even I can't change a flat tire. And AAA is way too easy to call roadside assistance. I'm relaxing in the air conditioner till I get there. There is no way on the planet I'm gonna try to change a tire myself. But she tried. And she goes, the jet. Oh, that's a story, right? Because remember, she says she gonna get next to Sonny to get some information from him. But her shoe was broken and everything. I don't think it was a story. So she goes, the jack wouldn't act right, and things turned into a mess, and my cell phone got broken. So now I can't call for a car service, and it's like a mile away, and I walked all the way here, half a mile away, which ain't far, right? It's a half a mile down the road, and I walked all the way here, but I guess in high heels it is far. And so Donna goes, she looks and she goes, hi, um, Miss Turner. And Justine is like, no, Donna, nice to see you. And she goes, nice to see you too. She goes, you know what? No offense, but you're looking a little dirty, right? And so Sonny said, let me get you a glass of water. So he brings some water over to 88 Turner. And Donna says, Dad, you know we can't just offer her water. You said you also must offer guests a snack. She says, would you like a snack, Miss Turner? And she goes, well, thank you, Donna. That would be nice. So Donna goes off and she comes back with this huge plate of cookies. She goes, Daddy and I were making cookies, and I brought some milk too, right? So that plate was huge. And then Justine picked up a cookie. And I'm telling you, everybody, I was looking at that cookie and I said, oh my God, that does look like a homemade cookie. Did y'all see that? That did not look like no commercial cookie. That looked like somebody used some brown butter. They browned it. Oh my God, Sonny. And she took a bite of that cookie, and I was like, man, I would like to taste that cookie. It looked good. So anyway, um, hmm, she's like, "Oh, this cookie is so good." And I forget what word she used. If you remember in Common Corner, write the word down because undeniable, maybe something, you know. I mean, some word that could mean Sonny. It could he's undeniable, right? Some word she used that could have meant something else. And she goes, but look, I cannot eat this whole plate. You're gonna have to help me. And Donna said, that's why I put extra on the plate, you know. So anyway, Sonny says, look, I will call. She goes, can I use your phone to call a tow truck or to call roadside assistance? And Sonny looked at her. He goes, I own a whole fleet of tow trucks. And she looks at him, and Donna looked at her and said, he does. And she goes, of course he does. And so he goes, I'll have my guys, pick your car up and change your tire. And he goes, and then when they're done, I will take you to your car. And so she goes, well, I don't mean to put you, in out. He goes, no, no problem. And Donna, when she went to go get the cookies, Sonny looks at her and he goes, oh, wait a minute. Oh, no. He comes and he touches. She goes, wait, wait. She didn't jerk, but she's like, what are you doing? What are you doing? And he goes, you got a little, just a little smudge, right? And she's like, ooh, do I? Do I have a smudge? Did you get it? Did you get it all? And he's showing a little dimple, and they make a good couple. They have good chemistry. They really, really do. But anyway, um, that's the Justine deal. Now, minor topic, Geo, he and Emma gonna make a move tonight, and they are gonna, of course, use Charlotte and Rocco. I'm not so happy Danny's not involved in this, and which is a big mistake. So now outside, no, Ned comes in and he's talking to Gio. Emma's going to change her clothes, and he's telling it, yeah, that he's in charge. The movers have removed all the boxes from Lulu's house, and they got to bring all the boxes back to the Q house, but they've been delayed. He goes, I don't know where the delay is. They should have been at the house a couple of hours ago. So I got to track this truck down, find out what's going on, and then unpack these boxes or the stuff that needs to be set back up. Because remember, some of those boxes don't need unpacking because they were packed at like Allen's certificates and everything. That stuff was packed. Oh, but Monica had that stuff boxed. Some stuff is boxed. So anyway, Gio says, if you need help, let me know. And he says, okay, Tracy is in France at a spa. She needed to decompress after everything that's going on. So Jane Elliott's going to be off for a while, but I kind of heard and I don't know and I don't like to. So you know what? Since I don't know, I'm not going to even say the rumor. You guys say it enough in comment corner. I don't want to wish nothing on her that ain't really happening. She's been working a lot over the past few months, and what she's done, the job she's done on General Hospital is, I know it took an emotional toll, period. And she rose to the challenge. So she's taking some time off. She's at a spa in France. So anyway, Drew goes outside and he's talking to the tow truck company. He goes, what do you mean you don't know where the truck is? What do you mean it could be lost? Now, see, that's a crappy tow truck company. How could a big tow truck I mean, not tow truck, a big moving van. It's the mover company, not tow truck company. How could a big moving company from A to B in the same town disappear? So Ned is like, well, you better find it and call me back. So Drew says, oh, I know exactly where it is. And Ned looks at him and says, what are you talking about? The moving van. He said, I called the moving company and I told them they had to deliver that to my house. Now, Ned says, you stole our stuff? And he goes, how could you steal something that belongs to you anyway? He goes, these are Quartermain heirlooms. They belong to our family. I have just as much of Alan's blood in Quartermain blood in me as you do. That's what he told Ned. And he said, Drew, this you stole these and you had no right. I am going to sue you for everything you got. And I'm going to get those items back. He goes, you don't have any memories regarding these items. You don't know what it was like watching Alan and his train set, his stupid train set around the Christmas tree every year. You don't know what it was like to see my grandmother Lila come in from picking her roses and putting them in that Ming vase. All of that stuff means nothing to you. He goes, maybe it doesn't. He said, but you don't have it. You all don't have it. That means a lot to me. And so Ned is yelling at him, and Ned starts to have a heart attack. And Drew looks at him. Oh, you gonna fake a heart attack, Ned? Oh, you pulling something right out of Edward's playbook. And Edward did a better job of it. And Drew walks away. And Ned is holding on to the back of a chair, but he ends up falling on the ground. Hopefully, because Gio's still in there, him and Emma, they'll probably walk out and find Ned, or somebody's going to walk out and find Ned. And we all know Ned's not going to die. But my whole thing is, as soon as Ned can speak, that is a lawsuit, a big lawsuit. And I'm suing the doggone moving company because Drew came, I don't care if he's congressman, senator, whatever. He did not hire that company. And a person cannot just pick up the phone and tell a moving company to divert anything anywhere else. And he didn't hire them. And you know what, everybody? This is what's unrealistic about the whole scenario. How did Drew even know that the moving truck was taking the boxes from Lulu's house, delivering it back to the Quartermain house during that exact time? How did he know that? How did he have that information? Lulu didn't call him. Rocco or Charlotte didn't call him. But we're not supposed to think about the logistics of that. And it's just that kind of writing and that kind of scene to where Drew is saying, I'm playing a villain. And, being a villain, everybody talks about a villain. Is that how a villain acts to you, everybody? That's how an insecure, petulant child acts. A villain would not waste his time on activity like that. But he's a villain, and it's good playing a villain. No. Anyway, I'm done. I'm done because that was ridiculous. Why they're keeping Drew Kane in pretty much every storyline, almost every other scene is ridiculous. Michael shot me, yet you haven't gone to the police yet with any proof that Michael shot you. None whatsoever. But you're going around slandering his name. That's a lawsuit. So anyway, oh, Felicia does her Felicia thing, and she was saying that she needed information for a nurse that needed to somebody a statement or something or other. And she says, on the night of these, oh, actually, maybe for Alexis, for Willow, on that night, did you see Willow? Where were you that night? Were you here on call? And Portia looked in, and Isaiah was in there with his doe eyes looking at her. And Portia says, yes, I was on call. Because she goes, were you here the night Drew Kane got shot? Yes, I was on call during the time he got shot. And Isaiah standing there and he kind of looked, glances at her, but like, oh, because I happen to know you were in the bed with me, right? And so she goes, oh, okay, all right. Then did you see Willow then anytime that night? And so Portia says, actually, no. I did not see Willow at all that night. Did a lot of paperwork in my office. And so she goes, what about you, Dr. Gannon? And he's like, nope, didn't see Nurse Tate at all that night. Right. I don't even know. I don't think she asked Isaiah because quite frankly, Isaiah may not even been at work that day. It don't matter, right? She didn't have, Isaiah and Portia were talking about it later because he came back in. He goes, you know what? I didn't want to say anything in front of, you know, uh, uh, Felicia Scorpio, but why did you lie about being on call? He goes, shouldn't we, since people may be asking, shouldn't we just go to the police right now and let them know that you and I were together? That way you wouldn't be a suspect. She goes, nobody's saying I'm a suspect. She's like, and no, we don't want it to get out that we were together. That would not look good. Well, if you go to the police and you tell them, how's everybody going to know? Except we are dealing with the PCPD. Your business will get out in the street. But Isaiah was actually right in essence. Now Portia has told a lie, and Felicia just went on the computer, logged in, and saw who was on call that night. And Portia worked, she worked 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. She worked a 12-hour shift, but she was off by 8 p.m. So Felicia looks at it and she's like, so she wasn't on call. She lied. So she calls and she tells Alexis, right? Alexis is with Willow, but of course Alexis doesn't, let on what's happening with her phone conversation. But they did not go back to the information Felicia was given by that strange looking man. And I didn't mention it yesterday. And I do want to say this in Comment Corner. If there's something I miss or don't talk about, you write about it. That's what Comment Corner is all about. The comment I got in Comment Corner, daily recap lady, you forgot to talk about the strange man and Felicia. Well, you didn't tell me anything. What if I didn't see that? You didn't tell me what happened to bring me up to speed. Since I didn't talk about it, Other people in Comment Corner that didn't see the show might need to be brought up to speed. So you write about it. That's what Comment Corner is all about. Okay. So, but anyway, they didn't get back to him. That was interesting. So we'll find out what all that has to do with anything, if anything. Um, so that's it, everybody. I'm going to go to Comment Corner. Comment Corner, 118 comments today. I'm going to start from the middle. So I just scroll down with my little mouse and I just let my mouse stop. And this is where it starts. Kadeen says, why is Drew asking Alexis to go after Michael instead of Martin when the sale of the Quartermain mansion went bust? Because all Drew cares about is Michael, Michael, Michael. He got caught because Sonny was right there in Alexis's office to witness Drew's next tactical move. And Oki says, Sidwell will silence Lucas for you. Talking about Sonny is, yeah, Lucas is a big mouth, loose cannon. Why? Don't you worry, Sonny. Yeah, Lucas is gonna get in some big trouble. Lashanta says, or danger. Pascal will blow Jocelyn's cover. Yep. TG says, regarding the event, it was, regarding the event, it was because they're having a debate, the final one on campus night. The election will be in a few days. Thank you so much, everybody. Adina says, I knew it was Brennan that took Anna from the moment he didn't mention her voicemail. And supposedly she called his office in a calm voice. He wanted her out of the way so she wouldn't go to Jason for help. It might be. This is getting all twisted up. I think Lucas will end up getting killed, and that would destroy Marco. He also is going to find out that it was Sidwell that killed Natalia. Marco's probably going to end up killing Sidwell like a Greek tragedy. They are at Windermere. Remember, Nicholas killed Emily there with a question mark. Nope, Nicholas did not kill Emily. Emily died in his arms. Nicholas loved Emily. I forget who killed Emily. Some was it Xander? Xander may have accidentally or went off the deep end and killed Emily. That was sad. You know what? This is some history for us in Comic Corner. Who killed Emily Quartermain? Let's get our history brains are going with GH and put in Comic Corner who killed Emily Quartermain. Eric says they're making Sonny a whole coward out here. He's saying everything not to get the job done. He killed off a whole FBI agent and didn't care about the consequences, but he is worried about two fruitcakes. What? Telling, wait a minute, I don't know if I like the word fruitcake. Anyway, two people, because that, yeah, I don't think I'm going to use that. I'm going to say, strike that word. Telling on him, two tattletales telling on him. Sonny and Jason are the masters of getting rid of evidence. Yes, they actually are. They really are. Dacia says, I hope they would vote Drew Kane out of Congress. He's doesn't deserve to have a second term in that Congress office. Miss Daily Recap Lady, I'm sorry, defend you after everything Drew Kane is having been done. What do you mean sorry to defend me? I don't defend Drew. And that's not even offending me. Peekaboo Pascal. Nah, I don't like that one. This is why Carly is going to destroy Jack. You mean because of Jocelyn? That's interesting. Yeah. I mean, I think it's going to end up being a hot, hot mess what Carly's doing. It's not going to end well. And then we have Lisa. Lisa says, why does Jack want Jocelyn to pry into Marco's life? He won't tell her what Sidwell is doing or who Sidwell is after. No, he won't. That is so stupid. That's just to put Jocelyn in more danger. Let's be real, y'all. Just to keep her relevant. Pascal can be PJ Pascal. I know. Yeah, I could say PJ Pascal. Yeah. I just haven't thought of a good perpetrator, Pascal. No. PE says, yeah, who was that? He was creepy. That's talking about that guy. And then Annette says, I was trying to remember Avery's name the other day. Um, I settled on Ava Jr. I couldn't think of it. Avery. And Katie says, is it just me? But a lot of General Hospital actors are getting sick and taking time off to address their health issues. Too many too many of them are announced with battling cat. Well, you know what? That is, unfortunately, they're getting up in age. So are we, right? I mean, they are, and some of them are older than we are. I mean, I'm in my mid 60s, and some of them are definitely older than me. And unfortunately, that's when our health issues are really starting to kick in. How many of us know friends that have either passed away and or battling something at our age? So, yeah, yikes. I just want to make sure they're all taking care of themselves. LaShanta says Jack's involved. The WSB trailered, must be trader, on Anna. She wouldn't leave Emma. Something's fishy. I don't understand why Lucas doesn't get his own place. I know this man is a doctor and a surgeon. Moving in with Sidwell would be dangerous. Brennan doesn't care anything about Joss's safety. Emma does too much. She's too hard-headed, and Anna cannot protect her. Nope, not now. She will get into a world of trouble. Mu Mumi says was a top if it was top secret, Anna couldn't leave a voicemail about it. She'd be making up some other excuse. I know, like Jocelyn going to Easter Island, right? And Annette, last comment, Annette says, Pajama Pascal, maybe PJ Pascal, is going to see Jocelyn and Sidwell is going to find out. I believe that. I honestly believe that that's exactly what's going to happen. And wait till Britt sees him. That's going to be interesting, right? All right, everybody, that is it for the GH Daily Recap. I will be back tomorrow for another daily recap of General Hospital.